Hey guys, and in this video covering the OCR A-level psychology classification, we are going to talk about biological predisposition to fear responses. Now, as I always say in these videos, there are more tech videos coming soon. I know not all of you are interested in these particular videos. I'm actually going to shoot some tech videos today, so there's definitely some coming soon, and they'll be uploaded in the coming days. With that out of the way, this is a video covering the health and clinical option of the OCR options of applied psychology paper, and whenever I cover studies from this option, I always say, and this time will be no exception, that because I'm not doing the health and clinical module in class, you have to study 2 modules, and my school chooses to do the health, chooses to do the crime and sport modules. So whenever I do sport, it's just whenever I do health, which is what I'm doing now, I'm kind of doing it on my own. So I've got no support from teaching staff. So I might have interpreted some of this data incorrectly. So if you are doing this exam and you're using this as a tool to revise, use it at your own risk. So that's that. I also say in all these videos, this one's gonna be no exception, that I know probably hardly any of you who are watching this video are going to be sitting this exam. The reason why I do these videos is because it's helpful for me to learn if I have to explain it to someone else, and it's also I think psychology is fascinating, and even if you're not studying it on an academic basis, it's still cool to know. So with that said, we are going to talk about biological predisposition to having a snake phobia. Now, you would think evolutionary we're more likely to have a fear of snakes than houses or faces, which were the other 2 stimuli used in this study. So this is actually a study giving some scientific basis and kind of quantitative data towards that. So we'll look at the study and then we'll talk about it. As always, I glance to the left here, so I can look at some notes that are on my screen. Anyway, so the study we're interested in for this particular video is Öhman et al. 1975. On a side note, I think Öhman's quite a cool name for a researcher, but we'll leave that there. And this is for the disorders section of the health and clinical option, and it's for biological explanations of disorders. I'd call it more of an evolutionary explanation, but there we go. So this is again using classical conditioning, which is actually used quite a lot, and it's seeing how easy it is to classically condition a phobia of snakes versus how easy it is to classically condition a fear of houses or faces, which you'd think would be less feared anyway. So the aim of Öhman's study was to see if phobias of snakes could be more easily conditioned than phobias of houses or faces, thereby indicating a biological disposition towards phobia of snakes. Who were the participants in this study? Well, it was a lab experiment, and the participants were 64 paid psychology students from the University of Uppsala. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Anyone who's Swedish can help me out there. The University of Uppsala in Sweden. So right there, just from a valuation perspective, you've got some sampling bias, generalizability problems there. They're all psychology students, so psychology students might think differently to the rest of the population. People in Sweden might think differently to the rest of the population. Issues of that nature. So what was the experiment? They were each assigned to one of three conditions, two of which were really control conditions. So we've got 64 in total. Their age span was 20 to 30 years, so you've got some age bias there. The 32 of them were assigned to the experimental condition, that's the snakes condition, because that was what they're testing. That's they're trying to see if you can have a predisposition towards a phobia of snakes. So 32 assigned to the experimental condition. The remaining 32, 16 each, were assigned to the conditions of houses and faces. There were 16. There were 38 females and 26 males. So just for an extra bit of information on sample there. So there's a slight bias towards females there, which may hamper the generalizability even more. Anyway, so we know what conditions they were assigned to. 32 of them are in the snakes condition. So they see pictures of a snake on a screen, and then they receive a shock, and that's the so the conditioned response that the researchers are looking for is their skin conductance to increase, because that's what they measured. You may remember from Gear and Maisel that they also used skin conductance as a physiological measure of stress, because apparently when you sweat, your skin conductance becomes I'm just gonna have to look. Yeah, when you when you start to sweat, your conductance becomes higher, which is a physiological sign of stress. So we've got, despite of all the problems, we've got objective measurement of stress response there. So we've got 32 people in the snakes condition, 16 people in the houses condition, and 16 people in the faces condition. And so before they started the experiment, and this is important with GSR galvic skin response machines, the machines were calibrated before before the study started, and all the participants had a similar measure of skin conductance before the study. So that's a control measure. So that's sort of suggesting that any changes in skin conductance are due to the manipulation of the independent variable and not any other confounding variables. And that's something we'll definitely talk about later, but at least it's an attempt at control. Just let me get. Each participant in every group was asked to the way they conditioned a response to the stimulus, because it's classical conditioning, Pavlovian, there has to be something to condition a response. And the way they did that was to shock the participant every time a given photo appeared. And so before they started the study, they asked them to identify a shock level that was definitely uncomfortable but not painful. They were seated comfortably and told they would experience a number of shocks. So they're being told what's going on. Ethics, people are being shocked, but this is not too bad. So they all saw all the stimuli. So they all saw snakes, houses, and faces. But what the independent variable was which one the participant would be shocked after. And it's also important to note that if a shock was to happen, it happened immediately after the picture appeared. Let's talk about the results. All participants had a similar measure of skin conductance before the experiments started. So that's suggesting that, like I said before, any differences that happen aren't due to the participant variables, what's usually a problem with independent measure designs, but instead they're due to the independent variable. So that's good. Okay, so let's get some bona fide results. The experimental group, the people that were shocked after the snakes, had a conduction level of 0.62. So for their conditioned stimulus, they had a conduction level of 0.62. But for the control group only had an average skin conductance of 0.37. So 0.37 is 0.62. There is a difference there. So unless all the people in the experimental group just happen to sweat more, that is a marketable difference in skin conductance, because they underwent the same procedure. The only difference was what stimulus they were shocked after. 0.6 to 0.37, quite a big difference. Let's talk about the control. What is um the 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 the, the, the control group, so 0.37, 0.62, that's quite a big difference. So it would suggest that if they underwent the same procedure, the only difference would be the biological disposition. So uh, participants were more likely to show. This is the conclusion now. Participants were more likely to show fear responses to the snakes than the hydrozole faces. So that basically suggests that that is indeed true. We do indeed have a biological disposition to snakes. Okay, I think that's everything. So let's talk about some evaluation points. The first thing on my mind here is reliability. We've got independent measures designed, so participant variables, but they did try and limit and control for some of those confounding variables by having a baseline measure. So if one of them had a significantly higher, one of the groups had a significantly higher skin conductance than the other, then it would indicate that there were a lot of participant variables there, but they had a similar skin conductance level. So that would suggest that the difference is due to the independent variable and not the dependent variable. Now, there are some reliability problems there, though, in that some of the participants, all of the participants in the snake group, could have been bitten by snakes, and the people in the control groups might not have been. So there's some sort of social experience component variables that come into play there. But from my mind, this study shows a pretty convincing idea of causation. It's slightly reductionist, though, in the fact that like I said, this is just focusing on one factor, just that we have a biological disposition. There might be other reasons why we show higher fear responses to snakes. It might be that we see more snakes in the media, so we're not biologically predisposed, but we're socially disposed to be more scared of snakes because we see what they can do in the media. There's like I said, lots of sample bias from there. They're all from students. They're all students. They're all from Sweden. They're between the ages of 20 and 30, so quite a young age group. There's more there's more women than men, but there is a split between women and men, which that's good. And they're paid, so that they might know what like with human characteristics, they might know what the experimental's looking for, so they might kind of psych themselves up and get more stress when the snakes come, and that show a difference in skin conductance. But on the whole, the measurement, the GSR machine is objective. So we've got objectivity, definitely sampling bias, maybe ecological validity, because it was done in a lab. This isn't how when we see a snake in the real world and it's a real threat in our lives. This is done in a lab, so it's a limited threat. So the difference in the real world, but if you saw a snake versus if you saw a house, there might be even more of a difference. There might be some ethical problems in that participants were paid and they were that they were also asked to select a shot level that was, although not painful, was uncomfortable. So you might be causing participants distress, particularly those who have already got a fear of snakes. So those are just a few evaluation issues to keep in mind. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. That was for the health and clinical option of the option in applied psychology paper of the OCR A2 psychology specification. Now, the next video I shoot will be a tech video. It might not be the next one you see, but I promise the next video I shoot will be a tech video. So thanks for watching this video, guys. Öhman et al. 1975. Biological predisposition towards snakes. They found that we are indeed biologically predisposed towards snakes. Thanks for watching Fearing Snakes. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Visit my website address down below, tom-rogers.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.